Alright, here we are in After Effects, so let's bring in our footage. First we'll bring in our effects plate here, and it doesn't really matter what order you bring these in. Now let's go search for our Cinema 4D render. There it is, and it is straight alpha. So now let's drop our plate onto this Make New Composition button. And after that we want to actually change these settings because we rendered everything at 1K for sake of time, so let's go ahead and make this 1024 by 512. Push OK. And then now, of course, we're going to have to change this footage to match the new composition settings. We can do that easily by going to Layer, Transform, Fit to Comp. And now let's drop our render on top of this. It should match and fit, and it does. And scrolling through it, you can see that everything sticks, and the ground cracks, and everything is attached to this 3D track. That works out pretty nicely. There's one thing I want to point out. If turn this off, you can see the image actually gets sharper. You can see more detail, and with it on, it's a bit softer and loses some of that detail. And that is actually because of the way we baked it. If I go to this and just actually revert to saved, and if I look at the backup piece I have here and look at our original texture tag, and in the bake settings I have the width and height to 1024 by 512 and super sampling of 1. But to actually bake out the full details of this, you would actually make this 2048 by 1024, and you'd probably bump up the super sampling to even 2 to get a better aliasing results. So to bake this out at full quality or production quality, I would bake it out at 2K, and you can actually increase this as well to bake it out even higher if you want. But yeah, I would bake this out at 2048 by 1024, and you would get the proper resolution without any of that loss of quality, and you wouldn't have any of the softness. You would get all the detail there. So feel free to bake this out at this resolution if you like. Let's come back to our After Effects render here, and let's come to a point where something else I noticed, just a little artifact here from our Cinema 4D ground plane, and fix this. I would just simply draw a little mask here. So let's just cut out our ground here. And give the mask a bit of feathering. And you probably won't even have to animate this mask, but let's find out. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be fine. That may expand it just a bit. Alright, and then I cut out that little artifact that we were getting. And then I would add a bit of motion blur using Revision effects plugin called Real Smart Motion Blur. Give that a blur amount of something pretty low, maybe like 0.25. You could probably go even lower. And that'll blur the pieces when they're cracking up. And you could also go into, let's see, the noise and grain, and grab the match grain. And probably won't be able to see this at all with a screen capture, but so we can match the grain of our plate to this CG rendering here. So for the noise source layer, we'll grab our plate, and you can click the final output if you like. And you're probably going to tweak it a bit, maybe bring down the intensity to about 0.5. You don't want to have too much of that grain in there for the matching. Sometimes it'll pop out, and you can kind of really tell that that's the CG part, because the noise is really noisy in the CG render compared to the real footage, so you don't want to exaggerate that too much there. But you can definitely do that, and the match grain plugin works pretty nicely actually in After Effects. The only thing bad about it is it's pretty slow, but So we'll turn this off for now. And I believe in the video that I made originally, I just threw a quick little grade on this. Just use curves. I think I brought up the blue a bit. Brought the red down a little. Something like that is about what I gave it. But you can pretty much do whatever you like to the grade, and of course with adjustment layers you can always check out the before and after. And again, this will leave you plenty of opportunities to add stuff in post and or Cinema 4D like some smoke and dust, and you could probably have some particles shooting out smaller fragments of these rocks, and also would probably work on the edges to make them more shredded up looking. But this is the basis of the effect, and in the next video I'm going to show you how to do this really simple composite inside of Nuke. Mainly I just kind of wanted to show how to set this up in Nuke for the people that have never used Nuke before, haven't seen it, but are After Effects users. So just a really basic look at how to use Nuke. So I will see you in Nuke next class.